This is Justin AMZN on Wednesday, March 4th, 2020. Taking a look at the 5-minute on AMZN today. And we did a pretty good job of riding up the lower edge of the uptrend channel here. Got below it a little bit, but continued to have bullish candles, got back up into it a little more. And I'm going to draw one line that actually helps me make sense of what kind of movement we had today, because it didn't really move hugely bullish or hugely bearish. It was much more of a consolidation and then somewhat of a breakout. And so there was a breakout of some highs here. But I'm actually going to draw this triangle, if it'll let me. There we go. All right. That's what we did today. We continued trading inside of this kind of a triangle, symmetric triangle, more or less symmetric. And then we broke out. We retested some highs from earlier in the day, broke out, kind of chopped around on those, retested here, and then continued on up. And so that kind of makes me think for tomorrow, we could pull back down a little bit into 1950. It'd be great if we hold that level because we've already retested there, but I wouldn't be surprised if we even had some sort of a bigger retest down to 1925. Hold this level, look like it's rolling over, trap more bears, and then continue on up. But I mean, we still could have a bit more of a ways down. So we'll just have to kind of wait and see. But this really helped frame today, because just looking at the moves we made today, we bounced nicely. Like, this was just about an X marks the spot. It was a great place to be buying some calls. Started moving up, came right back down. I think you got the same option price for some of the options, some of the calls right here as you did down here. That only moved up back into this high wave candle. Didn't continue higher, didn't have, a bullish breakout, opposite of the bearish breakdowns we were having yesterday. And then this started to roll over. A lot of wicks, trapping a lot of bulls trying to buy through here. Continued lower, took out the low here into a high wave candle right on this uptrend channel. And then this price range is where we got right back into here. Again, a lot of bullishness, didn't even come back down to 1925 and then just continued on back up. But this took a while, and options calls were just losing premium all through this. You really had to wait. It's just strange to see it, but you had to wait for the breakout from this high. A small retest, came back into the 5, didn't even touch this line again. Kind of set up by this bullish engulfing candle. This was a little bit of a stair step, and then it broke out. And from there, we got in a high wave candle, continued up, a nice little hammer, went sideways. I mean, this was just, an hour and a half of going sideways. And, all the while, again, options are losing premium, calls are just going sideways, so the premium is dropping. And then starts to get a little bit of movement up, and then comes back and goes sideways again. So it was not very much a directional day. You really had to just get into something, get out right away with a little bit of profit. We can look at some of the options you could have been playing for a little bit longer. Let's start with this kind of a breakout here. Again, it was kind of set up by this bullish engulfing candle. We had the squeeze going in here. So let's look at what you could have done from like 11:30 on. Getting into something just moved. Sorry, there we go. So still looking at the 2000 strike call. And so 11:30, yep, we started to move bullish at 11:30, got sideways here, about $3. And so really, I mean, getting in at 3 and a stop down at 2 seemed like a little bit extra risky, just because the low here is 189. But it was actually a really good setup, 3 by 2. Broke out, actually did move up to 5. You could have been out for 2R. And then it just went sideways and gave you lots of opportunities to look for a re-entry, maybe a little lower than 5. It was holding this low around $4. And so if you paid up, $4.50, or even right back at, paid lower, like getting in at $4.50 after getting out at 5, I mean, you're getting back in at a discount, and then that continued on up. But just a lot more sideways. Like, you had sideways here, you had sideways here. You only had a few places that were distinctly directional, where, it made sense. There was some kind of a signal, some kind of candle. Like I said, this being bullish engulfing, it's coming right into this triangle's range. and starts to break out. But if you waited for the breakout, so let's say you got in after 11:45. So this was the 11:45 candle. You got in after that. You're buying at 4, and it actually held that as a low. As long as you didn't move your stop for the next, hour and a half, you were okay. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Get back in on here. Okay. So again, it's just depending on where you bought. But if you're buying way up here, where is your stop? If your stop's way down below here, well, then you're risking more than $100. You're in at 4 and down. You're in at 4 and stop probably down around 2 or so. So that's 200 for your risk. So you get up to 5, maybe almost to 6. You're only made that R back. Now you've really you've limited your upside, but you've really given yourself some comfort room, or just kind of space things out a little bit, so you're not getting ready to get stopped out on that kind of trade. It very much could have come right back down. I mean, it did earlier in the day, and so the big difference here. We didn't really have a huge pickup in bullish volume. We just took out some key levels. Like we took out kind of the shaved top candle. With this candle, we had the bullish engulfing. Outside of these two bearish candles, we had a really small stair step here. So the candles got really small, and it's getting ready to do something bigger. Then it's getting ready to move, and it did immediately, and then it just paused again. So there were opportunities to, like I said, a few places where we were going directionally bullish. Had you just bought at a low, let's say you bought at 850 or 855, with this strike, you would have been buying over here like 3x2. You probably got stopped out if you just held on all day. It just didn't work like that today, and sometimes just doesn't work. But had you got in at 3x2 over here early on and gotten out at 5, well, great. Then look to reload after it pulls back, and probably would have been looking 3x2 again, and maybe would have given some back here. And then if you're looking for 3x2 again, maybe you got in again here and you held out a little more, but it didn't come back down to 3x2 again. So just a way to kind of set up what you could have been doing today. For puts, it really did roll over nicely right up here. It didn't get back up anywhere near the top of our channel. It just got back into this high wave candle. So let's look at the puts real quick, up at like 925. So 925 would have been making a low of 425. The next candle came down to 422. If you had been looking to buy the low from the open, that was at 469. Probably my guess is maybe setting something up like 5x4 just to try and get a move back to that area, or maybe a slightly lower just because you've given up 30 something. I'm sorry, nearly an hour of time, nearly 60 minutes of time for it to move back up here. The premium should have been sucked out somewhat. Now in this case, it wasn't that much of a difference from this low to this low. For $100 risk, yeah, it's half your R. So I'd rather get it closer to this low. But had you waited for that low to come in, so you waited for the rollover to happen, this very next candle here, it was putting in a low of about 5. So really 5x4 would have again been a good entry. And I just don't know if it would have been filled, just because the lows of these 3 candles was 5. So I don't know if that would have been a fill price on buying or just selling. And then that moved from 5x4, that moved up to 7 pretty quickly. And as it moved up to 7, it was actually coming right back down into our channel. And so it would have been a nice quick target to ride this back down. Now it's interesting, we had some relatively large candles through here that were really high wave, a couple of hammers here, inside candle, both with upper and lower wicks, and then got going a little bit more directionally. But it's just interesting seeing kind of a small stair step in here. And another way, if you're looking at this a little more bullish, so obviously I've got the line in here. We really, come on, there we go. We held this high really well. This looks like a double bottom here, and this would be our neckline retest. People were trying to get in bullish off of kind of a neckline retest there. It just didn't move above this high. It stayed right there, for 15 minutes. So taking the direction. If you're already in, great. Okay, look to load up over here. If it goes this way, great, get in and let it ride that up. Ride it back up to this high and do it again. It just didn't work that way. It moved down, moved back up, and notice this, it held these same highs. That's what made it even more significant that when we broke out above these highs, really with this upper wick, and then with this candle, that was basically, okay, we're going bullish now. It's starting to move. And then the high wave candle up here actually was retesting, making, let's see, a slightly higher high in the day from over here, just ever so slightly. So taking out the highs and pretty much stayed at that level or tiny hair below. Actually, from this is a really pivotal candle. Everything before it was lower than the high, and then everything after it was higher than the low. So it's a really pivotal high wave candle. It's a really interesting location for a candle, really good volume. It just kind of looks like everything changed on that candle for the day. Interesting. I'm going to stare at that a little bit longer after the video. I encourage you to pause the video and get an idea of what's going on in this candle, figuring out the sentiment. We've got people that are trying to short, thinking it's come back up to this level again. We got people buying, thinking it's a breakout, and then it was a breakout. It just paused for so long, let people kind of digest what's going on. But it's right at 1950, another really key price. So again, once it gets above it, we just we stayed above, a really nice level. We were into this level some, let's see, it came down into 1950 yesterday a bit. So yeah, just interesting where we, sorry, I'm pointing down here. No, at 1950, we were up here. We had some high wave candles yesterday that kind of did the same thing at that price, where this one, now not everything after it was lower, but this was a nice hammer right at the same range. Not everything before it was higher or lower. I mean, it was both higher and lower, but everything after it was definitely lower. So it's kind of opposite. This candle at 1950 is opposite from what happened yesterday for the rest of the day. So everything from here on over was lower the rest of the day. Everything from here on over was higher the rest of the day. I'm going to keep an eye out for something at 1950 to do something like that again. So anyway, we looked at some of the puts. They just, the rest of the day, they just went lower. What time was that candle at? That was 1150. Just wonder what the option was doing at 1150. Right there, that's not that significant. And then 1950 was this one. Yeah, same with the option here after everything was above. Before, not everything was lower though. So it's a little bit of a difference on the option. But anyway, yeah, we just continue riding this up. So we'll see what happens for things playing out tomorrow. Actually, I'm going to just keep this on here just to remind myself for tomorrow. Hey, let's look at, our 1950 price, our 1950 candle, and see what are we going to have going on right around 1950. Yeah, we got a high wave candle here at 1950, high wave candle here, and then again today, high wave candle. Well, it's not quite high wave, but I think it was high wave because there's pretty much the same upper wick and lower wick. I think it's just a doji, something like that. So anyway, we had an inside candle. We'll see if we can get some direction going bullish. If we don't, if we do end up starting to roll back down, look for it to hold 1950. If we do get down below it, look for it to hold 1925. If it doesn't and starts to take out this low, first it could be a trap. I still think we're going to continue going bullish. But I mean, if we do start showing signs that we're going to move down, roll over, wait for it to break down and then start to retest and look for that S curve to come in. So hope this helps. This is just AMZN. Thanks.